Hello and welcome to RPTV. I am your host, Jordan Espseth, and on this episode, we are with our upcoming cover story, Mr. Mike Mazyck. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. There's a lot of people in the market that know you. You're a pretty well-known name. I've heard many great things about you, and Mike was actually on our panel that we did for our show, or our one of our events. Was it 3 weeks ago now or so, maybe a month ago? And you're a very knowledgeable person. You're doing very big things in real estate, and so we're just excited and we're grateful to learn a bit more about you and share your story.
Well, thank you. I'm humbled to be here, and it's an honor.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So tell us, Mike. Tell us a bit about Mazyck Realty. Tell us about your brokerage. I know it's a little bit unique and different than a lot of other brokerages out there.
Yeah, we, I always say that we're kind of like a hybrid where, we are technically a boutique brokerage, but we function a lot like a team. And that the majority of it, we got about 95 sales agents.
Okay.
And we've seen a lot of growth this past year. Last November, we had 38 sales agents, and we've got close to 100 now.
What do you think? What changed? Where did the growth come from?
Well, it came from, I would say, three major things. Number one, I stepped back into the primary role as captain of the ship, really.
Yep.
I went through a period of time where I was a little bit less engaged. And last November, I decided that I was going to re-engage. And so I think that's probably number one, is just me going full force, 100% recommitting to leading the charge.
Yes.
Number two, I launched some pretty big things on social media that have had a huge impact. And number three would be I designed an incentive plan within my team that is pretty unique, that incentivizes my agents to spread the word about Mazyck Realty.
Yeah.
So those three things all kind of working synergistically have caused some pretty massive growth.
Some things to take off.
Yeah.
That's it. So we just had another interview. There's an inspector that he got a little bit disengaged with his company, and things started to kind of not go the direction he wanted. So he got more re-engaged as well. So were you just not focused? Were you doing real estate like last year and actually like selling homes, and you're not doing that now, or are you just more focused on what are you more focused on than you were last year?
Just being 100% committed to the company. I mean, I haven't worked with clients personally in, I don't know, 7-8 years at least.
Yeah.
And so I've been out of that part of it for a long time. But I think that when you've been doing it as long as I have, been doing this for 17 years, I got licensed in 2003.
Okay.
You go through seasons of just boredom. You go through seasons, I mean, where a bit, just you want to do things that are new, or you see more scalable options over here, more opportunity over here, and so you start to look elsewhere, and you lose a little bit of sight of what I believe God has put right in front of me, which is my agents and the team and the people that He's given me to pour into and lead. And I think that was where I was at for a while, and finally I had that realization that I needed to just 100% commit, and that's my personality too. I don't do good when my focus is divided.
Sure.
There's a lot of people. There's some people I know that they can run 4 different companies and are all doing great. That's not me. I have to I'm all or nothing, and if I'm not going all in on one thing,
you're a mess.
Yeah, I'm a mess, and so that was it, man. I decided that I was going to stop looking at everywhere else and focus 100% on the people that I believe had been entrusted to me, which is my agents, my team, and just pouring into them 100%.
So were you like dabbling in other businesses? Like were you looking at other opportunities, or is that what you mean when your attention was elsewhere?
Yeah. And just again, I mean, when you've been doing one thing in real estate for so long, you start to go through seasons of boredom.
Yeah.
And I won't lie. There's a part of me also during that time that began to see, okay, is disruption coming, right?
Yeah.
Within everything that's happening in real estate. Do I need to be looking at other opportunities and all that kind of stuff? So that was also there, hanging in the midst of all of that. And so just a lot of things that were just taking my mental focus off of my team and my brokerage.
So where's your head at now with that? Because obviously there is a lot of disruption in real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you see that playing into the future of Mazyck Realty, and how is the business going to change, in the next 5-10 years with those disruptors?
Yeah. Well, I think number one, for me personally now, I spent a season in fear.
Sure.
Okay. There's no doubt. I spent a season where I was like,
everything's gonna
I was
collapse,
living in fear, and I finally realized that this is not a productive mindset. I've got to shift it. So I'm out of that now, and honestly, it's interesting. I did a video I released the video just a week or two ago on my Facebook page about that question, and I think that I'm actually more excited now than I probably have been in a while, and that I think, if we look at some of the disruption that's happening when you especially in terms of iBuyers, I think that's probably, if anyone talks about disruption, that's the major disruptor I think that most people are concerned about. There's some other ones, but right now I'm actually excited because I feel like literally every week I scroll down my newsfeed on Facebook, and I'm seeing I feel like one or two more companies. Like it's like there's one or two different unique options now. It's like there's more and more and more disruptors that are entering the market, and that actually excites me because I think that it's becoming more confusing to the consumer. And the confusion is what is going to create opportunity, because I feel like where we're headed in real estate is that the more confusing it gets, the more options there are, the more companies out there with all of these unique programs. We've got Open Door, OfferPad, Perch. I heard one called Homeward. We've got Knock. We've got Zillow Offers. Literally, you've got all of these companies. And so it's creating mass confusion, in my opinion, in the mind of the consumer. And so I think that our role as the agent is going to be to bring clarity to that confusion. And I think that the job of the agent is that we are going to have to know every single one of those programs and be able to bring clarity to the consumer and the seller. And if we can do that, I think that we are going to have tremendous value.
Yeah, so more consulting on those other offers and options that they could go with.
Yeah, we need to know all of them.
Yeah.
I think that, I view it as the real estate agent for a long time. I feel like we operate like an exit strategy. Sellers are looking for an exit strategy, right? And so let's imagine that the agent owns and operates a little store, although they don't have like a storefront, right? But they have a store, and that store sells the consumer an exit strategy. Well, for the last 100 years, we've only had one product in that store, right?
Yeah.
It's the MLS.
Sure.
So there's one product. And now what's happening is that the agent has to begin to have more products on the shelf, right? They've got to be able to offer the iBuyer solutions, this solution. And that's what's going to happen, I think, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, is that we have to put more products on the shelf in our exit strategy store.
Sure.
And if we can do that, we're gonna survive. And if we don't, we're gonna be in trouble.
Well, someone also put it to me this way, that with all those options, with the iBuyers coming in there are going to take some of the market. So what we talked about before the interview, there's 60,000 licensed real estate agents within the market. That number, I would imagine, is going to decrease with time. Would you not agree that there's also going to be, so if let's say, in 10 years now there's 20,000 real estate agents, so 40,000 of them have left, that leaves more opportunity for the ones that knew how to stick around and, know how to navigate the real estate world with these disruptors too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, it's becoming more and more competitive, and the bottom line is that the soccer mom who's got her license and who isn't running her business like a business and is working part-time isn't going to make it. I'm not picking on females, or,
Sure.
but I mean, the people who don't truly know how to run a business aren't gonna survive, and obviously I'm okay with that. And I think that goes for brokers like myself too. If we aren't creating, really adding tremendous amounts of value to the agents underneath of us, a lot of brokerages are going to suffer.
Which I was going to ask. So if I'm an agent, like, why Mazyck Realty compared to the other options I could go with?
Yeah, I built my business based on leads, and so I mean, first and foremost, I think that's probably why 80% of the agents that work for me join. I mean, they join because I provide them a lot of leads. I mean, we have an overflow of leads. Not all of our leads are even taken every week. We have quite a few that go untouched, unfortunately.
More agents, it sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a problem I've got to fix in 2020. So,
Well, you're on the right path, I guess it looks like.
Absolutely. So leads is a big one. And I know there's a lot of teams and brokerages that provide leads. But they're really not the quality and the quantity, and if you ask any of our agents, they'll tell you that they have more leads than they know what to do with.
Sure.
So leads is a big one. We operate like it's really a turnkey system. And so I put a lot of things in place for my agents that I built my business by focusing on income producing activities. And so, what I've done is I've created and implemented a lot of those different amenities for my agents. So, for example, like everything's literally turnkey, almost like a franchise. Like, you're familiar with the franchise.
Yeah.
When they take a listing, everything is done for them. Like we handle all the signage, all the MLS entry. We handle professional photography. We have a client concierge. We install sold signs. We do Matterport 3D imaging. We do the drone photography. And all of this is literally done. They just turn in the listing.
So they can just focus on
everything is done for them.
Yeah.
We have a team runner that just runs errands for the agents and goes out, and if they need option checks delivered or picked up, or everything for me is about taking all of the non-income producing activities off of the agent. We provide all of that in-house, and that way they can just focus on generating business and negotiating deals.
That's huge because it's so easy to get. I mean, those are things that need to happen. They're incredibly important, but you as the agent, that's not where you should be spending your time. But that's where a lot of people get hung up. And so that's huge.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a huge one. Our culture, we've got. We literally, and I know every company says this, but I don't think there's another team or brokerage that has a better, more exciting culture than ours in our area. I mean, we've got a really fun culture. I do all the training myself, so I'm literally in there training my agents every week. That's part of me getting re-engaged.
Yeah.
So we have I lead all the trainings myself and showing them how to market and design business plans and market all of their individual marketing strategies. We do workshops that I lead every week as well. So our training is really good.
That's great. So you guys are at, you said 95?
Yeah, probably right around 95 sales agents. Yeah.
What do you know your numbers on this year with closed units as a volume that you guys are going to? I know it's quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll probably finish out. I think we're going to finish out somewhere maybe around 700 deals. But that's actually, if you run that, so anybody that's watching this is going to say, well, 95 divided by 700, well, these agents aren't really producing that much. Let's look at those numbers 12 months from now, because what you find is that we've grown so fast.
We start from 35 or whatever.
Exactly. And so 1 year from now, I would certainly expect that there's a good, because our last 4 months have been 50 to 60% up from this year compared to last year. So I have a feeling next year, even if we just stayed at 95, we'll probably be close to 1,000. Right. Maybe even, 1,000 to 1,200 plus or something like that. So I think that we haven't seen the fruit yet.
Sure.
Which is normal.
It's exciting.
But it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about 2020.
So why'd you I mean, you could have probably done a million different things. Obviously, you considered doing different things, but why in 2003, I think you said,
Yeah.
why did you get into real estate?
Well, at the time, I was a personal trainer for 24 Hour Fitness in Mesquite. And I had just gotten married. And I've always been into health and fitness. It's still a big part of my life. And I was doing well. I was in Bible college at the time. So I just got married. I was finishing up Bible college. I was working full time as a personal trainer. And honestly, for me at that time, I knew that I didn't feel like the gym environment was, for me personally, not everybody, but for me personally, wasn't going to be a healthy environment for me to be in 40 hours a week, having just gotten married. And so I knew that I wanted to do something else. And at the time, I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah, I was reading that book, and I was also I was training. Several of my clients as a personal trainer were all in mortgage and real estate. And so I was training the owner of a really big mortgage company, his top loan officer, and I was training at that time who was probably the number one real estate agent in Rowlett. So I had just it was like all of these things started to tell me that I needed to get into real estate in some way.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision and got into real estate. I never imagined that there was as much potential, I think, as there is.
And did you start with which brokerage, boutique?
I started with Caldwell Banker.
Okay.
Caldwell Banker Apex. I was there for, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years, and then went to Keller Williams Rockwall. I was there for 2 years, and then left and went out on my own.
Okay. And you haven't looked back?
No. No.
What do you? I want to say Wayne said. Do you have a home like in Mexico or something too, or do you live out in Rockwall?
I live in Heath. Yeah.
You live in Heath?
Yeah. No home in Mexico.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe it was. Maybe Wayne was making a joke because do you like to take vacations out there quite a bit?
Yeah, we go to. I do a lot of surfing.
Okay.
And so I go to Cabo every year and surf.
Okay.
And, in California, but yeah, I mean we take a lot of vacations.
So you're a surfer, huh?
Yeah, I grew up. I grew up in Florida, so I grew up surfing. That was my passion my entire life.
Interesting.
And so now I still go on. So I was actually. A buddy of mine owns a little private plane, and he surfs, and we flew down to there's an artificial wave in Waco. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, it's actually really fun. So
interesting.
We surfed last Sunday night. They
Really?
They have the lights down shining on the
indoor?
wave. No, it's outdoor, but it's a legit wave. It's, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 foot, and about just a little overhead.
Interesting. That's in Waco.
In Waco, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they have pro contests there and everything.
Do you snowboard as well?
I've never skied or snowboarded ever.
Really?
No.
Do you stay away from the cold, or do you just?
No, I just haven't done it. It's on our list, and I just haven't done it. Yeah.
I feel like you'd probably be if you're a decent.
I feel like I would pick it up fast. I don't know though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been surfing all my life. I feel like I would pick it up.
It would translate.
Fast. Yeah.
But I'm a pretty athletic person, but I cannot have skates or like rollerblade. I for some reason like my mind body does not know how to do that. Which is really interesting because I'm very for the most part athletic. But
right.
So I don't know, maybe it wouldn't translate. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe be awful at it.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna do it here.
Keep me
pretty
posted.
Soon. So yeah.
What do you find with real estate? What's the most rewarding part of it for you?
I think lately the most rewarding part has been seeing the lives changed of my agents. One of the things is very different about me is that I do my entire brokerage. I mean, I don't. My heart and my vision is I don't just want to pour into my team from a business standpoint. We're kind of a holistic approach in that. I teach them on basic finances. I'm not afraid to talk on my spirituality. My relationship with God is a big part of my life. I don't know how to even separate it. And so we have a lot of fellow believers there. fitness is a big part of my life. I bring a lot of value there, and so it's a holistic approach, and really even this year we just had a lot of life changes. Like just talking to every week we're having somebody that is just being radically impacted in one of those areas, and not even just from a business standpoint, but whether it's spiritually or health and fitness or something that we're doing is a result of them being a part of our company, and that's been pretty awesome.
That's powerful.
It really is.
Yeah. And you just started you moved into a new brokerage like this last year, didn't you? Or a new office?
A new office, yeah.
New office.
We were completely virtual. Like when I left KW, I was virtual. We remained entirely virtual for I don't know, I guess it was 7 years.
So it's the first office you've had?
First
office.
real office that I've had. And yeah, we moved in September.
And how do you feel that has been compared to being virtual?
It's been huge.
Yeah.
I think that being virtual was really good for me. I saved a crap ton of money, which helped me build a business, provide more to my agents and whatnot. But when you did it for literally, it was 7 years, where I was either working from home or from Starbucks or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after a while, and I'm an introvert, and even for me, it just wore on me mentally, not being around, having energy and people around.
Sure.
Me.
I do not get the introvert, by the way.
I am. I'm an introvert by nature. I like this. I like one-on-one. I love it. I could do this all day.
But the panel, you seem.
And I love speaking and teaching from a stage.
So the
small talk. I don't that's what drains me.
Gotcha. So if you go to a networking event, people.
It's the networking, the mingling, and thing. I'm not good at that. It's not my strength.
Pointless. You want to get to the point. Talk about.
I want to go deeper, man.
Yeah.
I like depth. And that's what I'm good at, and that's my passion. The small talk, and that's really difficult for me. Okay, where was I going? I forgot. I was talking.
We're talking about the physical space and being around people.
So it's been good for me. It's been really good for me mentally.
Yeah.
Huge to have the office. And it's an office I'm proud of. It's a really nice office.
I saw some video. I haven't been there personally, but I've seen the videos.
It's a
killer.
sweet office. And now, with what we're doing, the culture and the energy that we've got in the office, we've got agents there. Every week I lead these trainings, and we had literally 50% of the company there.
Oh, dang.
It was, what's today, Wednesday?
Thursday.
Tuesday. And that's, in real estate, if you get 50% of your company there for a weekly meeting, that's really good.
That is impressive.
And we have 80% of people there at our monthly team meetings, which they aren't always at our office. But I couldn't imagine now not having it.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
So it's been a good investment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where do you see Mike Mazyck Realty being in 5-10 years? Obviously, I know you want to grow it. You have a capacity to grow. Do you have a certain number you want to get to? Do you plan expanding out of the area? Where do you see it going?
Everybody always asks me that question, and my answer is always the same. I'm committed to slow and steady growth. In that I've always believed that a business is similar to muscle tissue, in that it's almost like a living organism, and it never just stays the same, right? I feel like if you look at muscle tissue, it's always in a state of hypertrophy or atrophy. Right. It's either getting bigger and stronger or it's getting smaller, and I think that business is the same way. And so if I've only got those two options, then I'm going to choose hypertrophy. I want to get bigger and stronger. But I always tell the story that if somebody would have told me 15 years ago that I was going to be running a brokerage with 100 agents, I would have said that sounds absolutely horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I would have said.
No thanks.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. But listen, I love my team to death. The team that I have, I absolutely love. But if somebody were to tell me that in 10 years from now, I'm going to be running a brokerage with 500 agents, I'd say, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that. But I'm committed to growth, man.
Yeah.
I just,
You never
we've
know.
got 100, and I feel like if we've got to continue to grow and get stronger. So, maybe in next year we finish out with 125 to 150. I'm happy with that.
Sure.
But
Just go in the right direction.
yeah, just slow and steady growth.
What do you find is the most, like, in your day-to-day, your life, like, what's most challenging? Like, what pains you the most, or what do you pressure yourself the most on? Like, what's the most challenging for you on your day-to-day?
Are we talking business or business and personal?
Both. I'd love
Okay.
both. Yeah, if you have one for both.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest one that comes to mind is, and again, this is all, for me, my relationship with God is like at the core of everything that I do. Like I said, I don't know how I can't separate that. So when you ask me that question, and so I think that the biggest thing or most difficult thing for me to grapple with is it's the fact that the bottom line is that business is about making money. That's the scorecard, right? Of whether or not you're doing it well.
Yeah.
It's how profitable is
It
it?
doesn't exist if you don't have money.
Yeah, and so to go to work every day and be where the dominant thought is profitability, and that is the pursuit, and so and reconciling that tension with my walk with God. It is that He's called me to not pursue money, and just reconciling that tension of my beliefs about why I'm on this earth and the pursuit of money with running a business.
Yeah.
And I find that to be, I don't think that all tensions are meant to be reconciled. I think some of them are healthy, that they're always, pulling against each other, and that can be healthy. But yeah, just where those two intermingle and mix, and just walking that out on a daily basis is, I find to be difficult at times.
Don't you feel? Because I don't like, if you have more money, you're able to help more people.
Sure.
Right. So isn't there like because I don't know, I love these conversations too. I don't know how deep we go on the show, but
yeah.
I don't think God or Jesus didn't want us to be wealthy. I think, and I like to think that if you're given a lot of money, like, I don't believe, I don't think maybe you believe either, but money is the root of all evil. I think if you give somebody money, it just brings out more of who they are. If they're an a-hole and you give a bunch of money, they're gonna be a bigger a-hole. But if they're a good person, you give them more money, they're gonna be even a better person.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, and you're right. The Bible doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It actually says the money is the root of all sorts of evil, or all kinds of evil.
Sure. The love of money.
Yeah, yes, the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Totally different than money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no doubt that if you have more money, you can help more people.
Yeah.
But there's a. I still find I think sometimes if we're really honest with ourselves about why we're doing the things that we're doing, I don't know that it's always to help people.
It's not always altruistic.
Yeah, it's not. It's and there's the common. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I don't know. I don't even know necessarily how to articulate it, but
the ego's kind of driving the.
Yeah, there's there was a quote I just read it this morning in my journal, because I'd read it and then I wrote it down in my journal, and it's by John Wesley, and he said that he made the quote about I never hold on to money, and I'm going to butcher this probably, but I'd never hold on to money, because if I did, I always get rid of it as quickly as possible, lest it make its way into my heart or something like that. And anyway, so it's just there's just a lot to grapple with there. I mean, I think that's something that's difficult to walk out.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big topic right there.
It is.
Probably
It
going on
is.
for a while. What is so you're big in health, big in fitness. Obviously, operating at the level that you do, you have to be there physically, mentally. Do you have certain rituals that you do? For example, I'm a morning meditator every single morning. Like, do you have certain things that you do? It sounds like maybe you journal. What are those things that you do to keep yourself balanced, level-headed, like your mind in the right place?
I mean, the two that come to mind, obviously I think you hit on is my time that I spend with God in the morning, and my health and fitness, working out, and what I'm doing there. Those are the two biggest ones. And I've always been a believer, like we're talking here to the top 500 agents primarily. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that almost all of them know this. You dominate your mornings. I mean, the most successful people, they crush their first half of the day.
Yep. And
so my time with God in the mornings is huge, and sometimes that's journaling, sometimes it's reading, sometimes it's praying, worshiping, whatever. My workouts I typically do more in the afternoon. I that's where I've been doing, not always, I do some morning workouts as well, but lately I've been doing more of those in the afternoon. They help me create that mental shift from work to personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, when I'm going 100 miles an hour at work, I can't just walk. It's difficult to just walk in the door and turn that off.
Yeah.
Like the working out and that 3-4 o'clock time frame helps me just make that shift.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I there's something about, for me, like the morning, getting that workout, getting the blood and everything like flowing, just like tees me up, for the day. And I notice like my days seem to do better if I have a morning workout. But I do love a good afternoon, and that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I would love to do it, and ideally I would do it in the morning. And I actually think that most people, if they've got big fitness goals, like that's a major area that they're dealing with, that they need to take control of, they absolutely need to do it in the morning.
Sure.
I've already got a lot of momentum. I'm in good shape. I don't it's not a chore for me to work out. Sure. I enjoy working out. So I can get away with
half hour. How long do you go in there for?
I'll go in for at least an hour.
Okay.
I'll meet sometime. I move slow.
Okay.
So like everybody always kids me. My wife always gets on me. We literally live a quarter mile from the gym at our house, and we will take separate cars because I'll be in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, because I got to stretch for 30 minutes, and then I got to do this and that, and she wants to be in and out. But,
yeah.
So I take my time, I enjoy it. But what I grapple with is that I feel like, for me in the mornings, I want to get in my time with God. I also want to pour into myself mentally.
Yeah.
Like from a business standpoint, business leadership. So, then you got another hour of maybe reading a book, listening to podcasts, learning.
You got to get sleep in too. So.
Then also I've got that's my best creative time. Like if I'm working on a project, like when I think really good creatively in the morning hours. In the afternoon, I know I can't operate in a really creative mindset.
Yeah.
And so I've got all these things that need to get done, so my working out got pushed to the afternoon.
Yeah, you don't need too much mental space to do the workout. Yeah. No, I agree. That's good. Do you need, I always like to ask this question because hours of sleep, like are you one of those weirdos that can go like 4 hours and still operate at a high level? Or
no, I need a full, I'm 100% on the other end of the spectrum. I need a solid 8 to 9 hours of sleep.
Okay, wow, that makes me feel good because I try to get 8 because I'm like, but I keep hearing people like, I literally yesterday morning I was working out. Arnold Schwarzenegger was on. He was talking about how you only need 6 hours, and he's like, people that say they need 8, he said, well, just sleep faster or whatever, just sleep faster. And I'm like, I can't. Yeah.
No, you need to read. Have you read Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss? In Tools of Titans, he interviewed. It's like, are you familiar with Tim Ferriss? Mm-mm. Okay, well, just Google Tim Ferriss, TimFerriss. So he's interviewed he's done thousands of interviews with world-class athletes, entrepreneurs, billionaires, these all names you would recognize.
Yeah.
Okay. And in Tools of Titans, he took all of these interviews, all the best ones, and he condensed each one down into 2 or 3 pages of all the nuggets that he got from these people. And a really good book. You'll love it. But when he was asked what stood out to him over all of these people that he's interviewed over these years as he did the book and all that kind of stuff. One of the things, there were like 2 or 3 nuggets that really stood out to him, and one of them was the amount of sleep that they get. The majority of them slept. They were more on that 8 to 9. Like they
Really?
needed and they valued sleep. They would take naps in the middle of the day if they needed to. And so I always thought that was interesting.
That makes me feel good.
But yeah, I've always said like my entire outlook in life changes based on how much sleep I've had.
Oh,
like
for
the,
sure.
the Mike at 8 to 9 hours of sleep is radically different than Mike at 5 to 6 hours sleep.
Same.
My
I'm good,
entire
like,
outlook on life.
One night, if I get 5 to 6, I'm good the next day. But if I do that 2 days in a row,
Yeah.
it's like I'm a hot mess.
100%.
Interesting. I just saw a post. It was like Bill Gates' top 5 books of the year or something, and one of them was on sleep. And he was saying when he was building Microsoft that he was run on caffeine and fumes essentially, But he said he realized what he did to his like body and health and everything, and now he's like this big proponent of sleep and stuff. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Winston Churchill used to take. They say there's a quote from him, and in the midst of the war, he would take naps every day. He said there's the only way that he would have been able to operate at that capacity.
Wow.
Every single day, in the midst of leading an army in the middle of the war, he would take a nap.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you saying that because that makes me.
Yeah.
That was something talking about grappling with something. I was like, I feel like hopefully one day I can grow up and only get 6 hours of sleep. So,
I will tell you this one thing. I don't know how we're doing on time. Lately, I've been intermittent fasting. Fasting has become a huge part of my life.
Okay.
And I've done it from a spiritual reasons before, but now it's been more even for just physical.
Like 18-hour day, like fasts.
I've done anywhere from like 16 to, I did a 48 this earlier this week, but that's not considered intermittent. That's prolonged fasting.
Yeah.
But my energy levels have went through the roof as a result
Do
of
you eat
fasting.
big meals when you are eating?
Yeah, I will. I'm not near as concerned about what I'm eating, but intermittent fasting has radically changed my life over the last 6 months.
Interesting.
So we don't have to delve into that too deep, but
Yeah, I'd love to.
From an energy standpoint, like
Yeah.
I used to need a nap every day, and I would take one around 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. I actually in my new office, I put a couch in my office because I knew that I wanted to be able to lower the blinds and take a 20, 30-minute power nap every day whenever I needed it. But right around that same time as we moved in September, I started doing intermittent fasting, and I haven't had to use it once.
Really?
Like I do not take when I'm fasting. My energy levels they stay way up all day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's talk more about that off hours.
Yeah.
I use this thing called New Calm. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's like this meditation device we should chat about because it's like you 20-minute power session. It's like the equivalent of 2 hours of sleep. It's pretty awesome. Another Tony Robbins thing.
Okay.
But, well, in the light of time, I'm curious. You've been in real estate for a while. What would you say? Do you have a craziest real estate story? Something that you're just like, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, I do. So
Maybe the PG-13 version, maybe.
yeah, so full disclosure there for y'all watching. He mentioned that before the interview, and I said I don't know if I can share it. So I'll share it. I remember this was definitely the craziest. I showed up at it was a time, and again, this must have been 8 or 9 years ago or something, because I went on a listing appointment with one of my agents, and so it was in Rockwall. We went on this listing appointment, and I don't even remember why I was there with him because he was an experienced agent, but I showed up with this other agent guy. We'll say his name was Freddie, okay? And so I showed up with Freddie, and we knock on the door, and this guy answers the door, and it was evident that he was homosexual. He had very different color shoes, and just he carried himself in a certain way. They were like, okay, cool. Listen, no issues there. Mm-hmm. We walked in, and he showed us around, and he had the entire house, okay, was littered with huge nude paintings of men. in all different poses, okay? And so, I mean, he's literally showing us, I mean, when I say littered, I mean 100 to 200 of them throughout the house.
Dang.
They're everywhere.
Is it a big house?
I don't know, maybe 2,500, 3,000 square foot. I mean,
Just covering the walls with...
everywhere, okay? And we're walking through the house, and I don't know what to say. You know, I'm like...
nice art.
Exactly. And so the other thing is that he had... he had a ton... Right, you're regretting asking me this question right now, aren't you?
No, I'm enjoying it.
You're thinking, why did I ask this question?
No.
Okay, so he had a ton of wood trim, okay? And it was the wood trim that it's like the actual wood grain color, like everywhere. Everything in the house, there was wood trim everywhere. And we sat down, we did the listing appointment. I don't think we ended up taking the listing, but it was very difficult to walk through the home. And I remember we walked out of the house, and I turned to Freddie and I said, there sure was a lot of wood in that house. And
Pun intended.
yeah. And so anyway, it was
Dang.
it was funny.
So you didn't take the listing though?
I don't think that we got that listing. No. No.
That is good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice art. You didn't tell us yet. It's a perfect segue to tell me about your family.
There you
go. But married, kids.
I'm married. I've got 2 children. I've been married to my wife Tiffany for I guess we got married in 2002. So yeah, we're going
Nice.
on.
Right, but you got into real estate.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got 2 kids, a daughter who is 14, and a son who's 12.
Okay. They in sports.
Son plays basketball. That's kind of his thing. And daughter's in cheerleading. She's really good at cheer. She's head cheerleader at her school. And
Awesome.
yeah,
Your wife works, stay-at-home mom.
she stays at home.
Okay.
Yeah, stays at home and stays busy.
Yeah.
And she does. I don't know how. I don't know how moms do it who have to work and raise a family.
Yeah.
Because she stays really busy.
I'm the youngest of 3. My mom was stay at home, and yeah, we kept her busy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, last thing, is there any advice that you'd give? Is there maybe to someone who's looking to get into real estate? Any people who are in real estate? Just any advice that you'd want to give? And then lastly, just anything else that maybe we didn't touch on about you and your brokerage and who you are.
You know, I think for those, that our top 500 that are watching this, I'd say make sure you don't step out of the business too early. Mm-hmm. I think that was, I re-engaged and really 100% committed to my brokerage and the team that I was building, and stopped looking everywhere else. And so I think that's a problem for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Shiny objects.
Yep, shiny objects everywhere. A lot of opportunity. I think that as we have more and more, as technology and knowledge begin to, because what we're finding right now is that technology and knowledge it's compounding, right? Mm-hmm. It's increasing at a rate faster than it ever has, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got cars that are driving themselves, and it probably might not be too long before we have a driverless car pulling up with a robot that gets out and opens up a home and shows somebody.
Sure.
That could cool. Actually happen in 10 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, so as we see this technology and knowledge compounding at the rate that it is, I think the thing that I've realized more than ever is that I have to be learning extremely fast. I think that is my ability to learn new things and pouring into myself and implement at a very fast pace is what is going to keep me in business and profitable over the next decade,
Yeah.
I'd say, since we're going into 2020. So I think just for those that are watching, I think just really caution you against stepping out of your business or dividing your focus elsewhere.
Sure.
And learning and pouring in.
That's great.
Those would be my two biggest ones. And yeah.
Yeah. Have you read Organized Mind, lastly? Mm-mm. That's a book you might want to read.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good.
Organized Mind, okay.
We'll talk about it after, but it's a
Yeah.
good one in terms of organizing your life and organizing your mind so you can process more and do more, and it's good. It's a little bit long and dry, but it's good.
Okay.
So,
I like it.
well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on, man. We're super pumped to see your story, and you'll be on the cover of that March issue, and I can't wait to see it, man. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed
Absolutely.
it.
Well, thanks for joining us on RPTV, and we will see you next time.